Hey, what's going on everybody? Commander Crane here, and we are back with another Pioneer deck tech, and today we're going to be talking about mono red dinosaurs. I'm very excited to bring this list to you. As always, before we hop into the video, let me know in the comment section below at the end of the video, is there a card that I definitely should have included in this deck that it did not, or do you have suggestions for upcoming videos? Just let me know in the comment section. So, all right, another dinosaur deck. So, for those who are longtime viewers of the channel, who aren't longtime viewers of the channel, we love dinosaurs here on the channel. We love talking about dinosaurs. We love dinosaur decks. We do a lot of different dinosaur decks. But we've never done a mono red dinosaurs deck. And honestly, I think this deck is pretty darn solid. I really like it. There's a lot of unique cards that we generally don't get to play a lot, at least in the regular Gruul dinosaurs decks here on the channel. So, let's go and hop into here. All right, so we're really only playing 8 1-drops, and we're playing 4 Kumanos and 4 Triumphant Chomps. So Kumano's pretty self-explanatory. You obviously got the really good Saga side of it here. Then it transforms into the 2/2 on the other side. I'll be honest with you, there really wasn't a good 1-drop for the most part. I didn't want to have to play 1,000 different 1-drops, but I at least wanted to have something. And Kumano, I feel like, was the best option just because, spoiler alert, we can go like turn 1, deal a damage. We can go turn 2. We can play one of our cost reducers or something. Turn 3, the 2/2 comes in or whatever. I just thought it'd be pretty solid. So that's why I'm playing the 4 Kumanos there. We're also playing Triumphant Chomp. So usually in the past, I play Reckless Rage. I really do like Reckless Rage. I think the card is very strong, but I decided to go with Triumphant Chomp in this build instead, which Triumphant Chomp definitely has its own upside. Sure, yeah, it's a sorcery, but the potential to do so much more damage is there with Triumphant Chomp. So definitely a huge fan of Chomp in general. It also kind of makes sense why we're also playing Triumphant Chomp in a couple slides here. And then we're also playing Bone Crusher Giant. We're playing 4 copies of it. Sure, it's not a dinosaur. Doesn't even matter. The card is just that good in a deck like this. So definitely a huge fan of the Bone Crusher Giant. So let's go and start hopping into the dinosaurs here. But first, before we hop into the big dinosaurs, we got to talk about some ways that we can get them in play by, making our dinosaurs a little bit cheaper. We're playing 4 copies of Odipeg Huntmaster, 4 copies of Marauding Raptor is our main cost reducer, so I like both these cards. Obviously, Odipeg Huntmaster, you have the potential to really go off just because, being able to give a dinosaur haste is extremely strong. It is a 1/2 though, so it's a little frail, but if our opponent doesn't have like a Fatal Push or a Play with Fire or anything for the Odipeg Huntmaster, we're kind of just going to go nuts with the card. So definitely a huge fan of Odipeg Huntmaster. Marauding Raptor, there's really nothing I can say that hasn't already been said about Marauding Raptor. It's one of my favorite cards in the game. This card is extremely strong in a dinosaur build. I don't think I would say it's the best card in this particular dinosaur deck, but the card is extremely strong. If you get a couple lands and a Marauding Raptor in your hand, you're probably going to want to keep that hand because it's definitely very good. Do just keep in mind though, if you have a hand with both of these in play, make sure you play the Odipeg first, because if you don't, then the Marauding Raptor will deal 2 damage to it and take out the Odipeg Huntmaster. So always play the Odipeg first if you do have it though. Just keep that in mind. We're also playing 1 copy of Chandra Dressed to Kill. Sure, it does make mana technically for us. It's not like a cost reducer, obviously, or anything like that, but I decided to just put it in here. I wanted another 3-drop, and this is the one I decided to play. I really do like Chandra Dressed to Kill. Obviously, our entire deck is red cards, so the odds of us hitting a red card with the 1/1 is, it's pretty high for the most part. So definitely a huge fan of the Chandra Dressed to Kill in the deck. All right. So let's go and hop into the dinosaurs here. The main thing everyone wants to see. So we're playing 4 copies of Scytheclaw Raptor and 4 copies of Rampaging Raptor. So Scytheclaw Raptor, I really like this card. Unfortunately, there's not really been a lot of opportunities for me to be able to play it, but I really like this card. 4/3 for 3. Whenever a player casts a spell, if it's not their turn, Scytheclaw Raptor deals 4 damage to them. So just huge. Our opponents, they have to play on their turn, otherwise they're going to be taking a ton of damage from the Scytheclaw Raptor. Half the time, it really just drags out a removal spell, but it's really awkward if our opponent's playing like trying to beat the controlling deck and we have the Scytheclaw Raptors in play. It's just really awkward for them in general, but also it is symmetrical. So that's kind of the reason we're also playing the Triumphant Chomps. It's kind of making sense. We're playing sorceries just because we're playing Scytheclaw Raptor. Rampaging Raptor, though, I really like this card. Rampaging Raptor, one of my favorite dinosaurs. It's basically a questing beast, but for dinosaurs. The card is extremely aggressive. I love Rampaging Raptor. I think it's the best card in the deck, but there's 2 dinosaurs on the next slide here that I think definitely compete for the best card in the deck, and that is Bone Horde Dracosaur. We're playing 4 copies of it and 3 Trumpeting Carnosaurs. So Bonehorde Dracosaur is fantastic. It's a red Baneslayer. If they don't remove it, we're going to win the game with Bonehorde Dracosaur. 5/5 for 5 with flying and first strike. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. If you exile a land card, make a 3/1 dinosaur. If you exiled a non-land, create a treasure token. And no, if you exile 2 lands, you don't get 2 dinosaurs or red dinosaurs. I just wanted to mention that. So obviously you want to maybe try to get a land and a non-land or such and such. But Bonehorde Dracosaur is insane. Pretty much every game that I've played it and untapped with it, I've won the game. The card is just that strong. Huge fan of Bonehorde Dracosaur. Trumpeting Carnosaur is also really, really good. Obviously, being able to discover 5 when it enters the battlefield, but also being able to discard it in a pinch as a removal spell is also really, really good. Huge fan of both of these cards. I'm really happy that I was able to feature these here on a deck on the channel. It's been a while since I featured these, so definitely very, very cool. So that's the entire main board. Let's go and hop into the lands real quick. So, lands is pretty self-explanatory since we are a mono-red deck. We're playing 3 copies of Den of the Bugbear, 4 Raymond Ruins, and 1 Sukenzen as our main utility lands. We are also playing 2 Cavernous Souls because, obviously, we're playing dinosaurs. We don't want them to get countered. That's why we're playing the Cavernous Souls. We're also playing 2 Mutavaults. Really, for the most part, we're not going to take advantage of the dinosaur creature type with the Mutavault. It's really just because it's an aggressive land. That's pretty much why we're playing the Mutavault. And then we're also playing 12 Mountains. And as our spicy basic land of the day, I featured the Jurassic Park land, which high memory usage detected apparently. But beside that point anyways, Mountains, I really, really love this mount. I think it's sweet. You got obviously like the big T-Rex going on there with all the meteors and such. I really do like it. So that's why we're playing this specific mountain. I don't have any of these yet myself just because they're not the most common lands to, find for the most part, but I really do want to pick some of these up. It obviously is very fitting for our dinosaur deck. So let's go and hop into the sideboard here, as well as some budget options that we can play for the deck. So sideboarding is really, really simple. If it'll actually let me go to it here. Let's see. There we go. Sideboarding. All right. So Graveyard Hate, I would personally recommend Soul Guide Lantern in this deck just because we don't really have a lot of 1-drops for the most part, so it never feels bad playing it on turn 1. But you could also play Tormod Script. I think those are both fantastic options. We're going to want some extra removal. I would personally say for extra removal, you could play a card like, for instance, Obliterating Bolt. You could also play some Torch the Towers. You could also play some Brotherhood's End as like a nice sweeper. That's personally what I would recommend. You're also going to want some Tears of Valakut just because it is the cleanest answer for Vein Ripper. Obviously, Pioneer, Rakdos Vampires and Pioneer is everywhere right now, and we're definitely going to want some answers to take out those pesky Vein Rippers. You could also play some Pithing Needles. I didn't mention that here, but I think Pithing Needle is also a fantastic option. And the last thing, Rampaging Ferocidon. Not only is it a really, really good sideboard card in this metagame, but it's also a dinosaur, which is perfect for the deck. So I've definitely placed some number of Rampaging Ferocidon in the sideboard. And the last thing we have to talk about is the budget options, which is relatively simple in our monocolor deck. Obviously, go ahead and cut the Cavernous Souls. I mean, especially if there's no counter spells in your metagame, you don't even need the Cavernous Souls. But when there is control decks, though, Cavernous Souls is the best card. So do keep that in mind. It is quite the investment. I would say it's probably the last thing you really have to invest in if you're looking to play this deck. You could also swap the Bonehorde Dracosaurs. So I really love Bonehorde Dracosaur in the deck, but, they are relatively pricey. There's a lot of other good, red 5-drops that we could substitute it for, but do keep in mind the card is absolutely incredible. The last thing I want to mention, that's including the Cavernous Souls and everything, the current list is only $226 US, which really is not bad for a Pioneer deck, but the budget list, I was able to get it to $30 just because of cutting the Cavernous Souls, cutting the Bonehorde Dracosaur. I believe it was charging Monstrosaur is what I actually replaced the Bonehorde Dracosaur with. We were able to get it to $30 US, which it's very, very functional. Usually, when it comes to making a budget version of the decks I feature on the channel here, I try to get it as cheap as possible, but with it still functioning. And I was able to get it to still be a very good functioning deck for only $30, which is absolutely crazy to me. But hey, we were able to do it. So, all right, that takes us to the end of the video here. Thanks so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about the deck? Is there something that I definitely should have included that I did not? just let me know in the comment section. And huge shout out to our channel members, Ralph, Matt, Arcadius, Ray, Gary, and Sir Winuki. If you're interested in being a channel member, it's only $1 a month. You get access to the exclusive Discord as well as other features here on the channel. The deck lists are in the description below. If you'd like to check it out, we have the regular one and we have the budget list as well. So feel free to check those out in the description. So I'm Commander Crane. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.